Kelvin, how you doing? Listen, I know the last couple fights you haven't gotten the results that you wanted. I mean, clearly you've been fighting high-level competitors, but what's it been like for you? I mean, you're not used to having to deal with losses, right? So what's this been like for you? Kind of going through this phase of your career.
You know what? To be honest, I haven't really thought about it much. I've just been concentrated on this fight and concentrated on Ian Heinisch, and just being more present. You know, just being more aware, more present into who Ian Heinisch is, and that's what I'm focused on.
Yeah. You know, I think about you from the very beginning, always having like this real strong self-belief in yourself and really having that confidence. But I wonder, I mean, have there been any moments that have shaken you a little bit, that have made you second guess it all, that have made you think, you know, am I not what I thought I was or what I used to be or anything like that during the stretch?
Not for a second. I know who I am, and I know how good I can be, and I'm excited to show that on Saturday.
Despite the setbacks, here you are, pay-per-view, main card, you know, a big fight. Does that show a lot? Do you feel like the organization still has that belief in you, that they're putting you in a big spot like this?
Yeah, absolutely. I feel like they know just as much as I know what I bring to the table, and yeah.
You talk about Ian Heinisch. You look at who you fought in your career. I mean, it was killers from the very beginning, right? Ian might be a killer as well, but he's not there yet, right? He doesn't have the experience yet. Was it difficult at all for you to start preparing for a guy that maybe you haven't been watching all of his fights along the way?
It's a little different because most of the guys that I've fought, I've studied for years, but yeah, to be honest, I was fine with it. It was good to go back and do some homework on them and do homework on myself and just get to work.
How did you study? I'm curious, because like you said, the other guys you fought, man, they're in main events. Everybody's watching them. You don't have to watch the tape, you know what I mean? But here, I imagine you probably didn't know a whole lot about his game. So did you go back and watch all of his fights?
I didn't watch a lot of his fights. I watched maybe a couple clips of him, see what he does best, and we went off of that, built some strategies around that, and I'm more than well prepared for this fight. I feel like for this fight, I'm more mentally focused on him rather than focused on a lot of other variables that are important.
You talked about that at the very beginning, like being present. So what does that mean? Like blocking out like where this puts me, what ranking it is? Is it that kind of stuff?
Correct. I feel like for my past two fights, I've maybe gotten away from that a little bit. I've thought about maybe, my loss after Israel, I wanted to get right back on the horse and fight there till. And I knew that if I win, then it might have propelled me to where I needed to be. And same thing with the Jack Hermanson fight. I know that I needed to get back on a win streak, and I was just focused on more ahead, instead of actually being present and focusing on my actual opponent.
Was that something you realized yourself, or was it somebody that somebody around you noticed and advised you on?
Yeah, it's something that I noticed myself. When you come in off these losses, you have to kind of go back and reassess what you're doing wrong, what you may think needs to be fixed. And yeah, that's what I did.
So with Ian Heinisch, you start studying the guy, and obviously he hasn't accomplished. I mean, you fought a who's who. Did anything stand out to you? I mean, was there anything that he did that you were like, ooh, I've never seen that before, or ooh, that's right up there with whoever else it is?
He's got a very good skills for sure. And at this level, no fight is easy. Every fight is different. But I mean, there's a couple things that stood out for sure that I think he does really well. But yeah.
When I think about you, I think about some of the battles that you've been in. I mean, what are you trying to do here in this fight? Is it just win at all costs, even if maybe it's boring, even if it's not necessarily the most exciting fight, just get a win? Or do you still think, I still want to go out there and have a little fun and put on a show for the fans?
Absolutely. I want to go out there and have fun. I know what I bring to the table. I know my skill sets, and I want to show to the world and to myself, that I'm still here among the elite.
Last thing from me, Kelvin. Do you have goals for this year? I mean, like you said, the idea is be present and just focus on this fight. But do you have goals of like number of fights or where you can go? And if so, what are they?
Yeah, I want to fight at least 3 times this year. Last year I was very inactive. I fought 1 time. And the year before that, I think I fought twice. I'm used to being active, fighting every 3-4 months. So I want to be able to get at least 3 fights and maybe jump in on a short notice one as well.
Hey, Kelvin. We spoke about being present. I was wondering, what does that actually look like? Does that mean you have a great training session, you start thinking too far ahead, and you actually have to say to yourself, okay, slow down? Or how does it actually manifest itself in being present?
Just being in the moment more, enjoying the moment, being more aware of your situation and your environment. And I feel like that's what I've done for this camp, is just be more aware of myself, my emotions, how I feel, why I feel what I feel, and how to deal with that, and just being in the moment.
You're still fairly young in this game, but you fought basically a who's who in your division. Are you starting to consider yourself one of the veterans?
It's crazy to think about, but yes, I guess so. I feel like for this fight now I got a up and comer trying to chase me. Whereas before I was the up and comer trying to chase these guys. And yeah, I definitely feel like tides have turned a little bit.
Is that fun for you to feel like that? To feel that I've been on this journey and now I'm starting to sort of mature into one of the bigger names, or does that kind of trip you out that, oh my God, I'm getting old and my career's starting to, I'm on the other half now? How does it feel?
It's a little bit of both. It's a little bit of excitement. It's a different phase of my career, and yeah, it's exciting.
I was just taking a look through your Twitter, and I've noticed a couple of retweets and stuff of maybe calling out fans for turning on fighters after they lost, and you retweeted a quote saying, "You'll never be criticised by someone who's doing more than you, only criticised by someone doing less." Have you been feeling some unfair criticism from the fans after losing a couple of fights?
I mean, the criticism, whether you win or lose, is always there. You could be saving children around the world and people still find a way to criticize that. So that was just a little quote that I felt inspired to tweet that day, I guess.
Is the staying focused and staying present on yourself, does that also involve ignoring the bullshit that comes in social media and ignoring that criticism from the fans?
Yeah, absolutely, because you get a tweet or you get a comment on your Instagram and it kind of messes with you a little bit mentally. You kind of have to just reject those thoughts and reject those feelings that get with it.
You started in this game very young. Was it something that I can imagine as a younger guy getting those sort of tweets, it might hurt you more than it does now. When you started, was that something that affected you quite a lot?
Not really. When I was younger, I'd go back and look at the YouTube comments and the Instagram comments a lot more than I do now. I just realized that's just the internet culture, and it is what it is. Nobody's gonna be able to change it, and it's just the internet culture.